Hey guys, DIY with Elle here, and in this DIY video, I want to show you how to DIY a room divider, but not a solid one, a slatted wood one, because I feel that this gives the best separation between rooms, really defines a space, zones the areas, but without really closing it off and making it look smaller. A lot of houses are now open plan, but sometimes you just want a little bit of separation between the two, so you can see this is the dining room, this is the lounge, or this is the kitchen, or here's the little part of your study now that you might work from home. Let's get started on this DIY project, because maybe you also need to customize a DIY room divider.
First, measure the width and height of your room divider. Next, I like to lay it out on the floor so I can get a good idea of how many pine bars I need and what it's going to look like. Here's a tip: use another scrap piece of wood as the spacer. With the layout done and your measurements marked, you can now get to cutting. Cut straight cuts, making cuts on the bottom and top pine bar as well as on all the individual vertical slats. Now that all the cutting is done, we can get to the surface of the wood. And that is sanding the surfaces till they are smooth. I do a light sanding before I assemble the pieces of wood together, and then I'll sand again when the project is complete, just to make sure the finish is perfect. It's time to look at the placement of our vertical pine bars. As you can see, I'm using the other piece of wood as a spacer and marking where I want my vertical slats to lie on both the top pine bar and the bottom. Here I'm just transferring the measurements so they lie exactly the same. The markings now are clear and exact, and they also act as guidelines for me to drill my pilot holes for the screws to go in later. Use a wood drill bit secured in the chuck of your drill and drill 2 pilot holes in those guidelines, as I feel 2 screws will make it a sturdy build. Do that along the length of the bottom pine bar and the top. Next, follow with a countersink bit. The countersink bit will allow the top of the screw head to sit underneath the surface of the wood. Apply wood glue to all the ends and joins of this project, and then set them into place using clamps. This will help hold it together as you drive in the screws. Drive in the screws using a driver bit and secure your project together slat by slat. Once all secured, you can then grab some wood filler and fill the heads of the screws in the holes, and also use some wood filler for any gaps that you might see on your project. Allow the wood filler to fully dry and then sand smooth with a sander. Again, give the project one last sanding before it is either painted or stained or sealed in a color or wood stain of your choice. This DIY pine slatted wood divider is now complete and ready to just zone a room and space and give it a little bit more structure and separation. Adding this DIY room divider to this open plan space really helps to define what is the dining area from the living room area. And it also looks really modern and decorative. We hope you enjoyed this project video and feel DIY inspired to create this look for yourself at home.